Hello, my friend. Welcome to another video. So today I'm going to show you how I transformed this simple image of a unicorn into an acrylic pour resin art masterpiece. So what I did to begin with was I found an image online that I liked, printed it out. I bought a pack of wax-free transfer paper, put the paper on the canvas, put the image on top of the paper, and outlined the image. And what happens is it transfers that image onto the canvas. It's a very simple thing to do, and I love doing it. So after I had my image on the canvas, and you can hand draw in an image, whatever you want. It was time for me to start working on the parts that I wanted to do an acrylic pour on. So my paints, I need to keep them separated from other areas where I don't want them to go. So I used this artist tape that works really well with curves, and I simply placed it along the face line there, just so when I went to go do my acrylic swipe, if any got into that area, it would not touch the face. So you're trying to block off the face for a bit here. Mask off the face. That is the term I'm looking for. So color theme. I wanted a green and pink color theme, and here's why. I had some awesome glitter that I wanted to use. So I gotta coordinate the colors a little bit. So what I used was pink diamond from COLOURARTE. This is black emerald from COLOURARTE. And then I had a green and a pink tube paint. So I put the colors down, and here's how I did it. I used the green first, and I kind of swiped it over the whole mane just to fill it in, so that would be a background color. Think of the mane as the entire canvas, whereas you put a base coat down. Well, for me, I wanted a base coat of green underneath, dark green. This black emerald, by the way, is gorgeous. And the recipe on how I mixed these paints will be in the description. It was pretty simple. So then I came in with my other colors and laid them on top of the green. And then I took some white that was mixed with Floetrol and started swiping over those colors to create some lacing. Now, once I get done with this swipe, I could have stopped there, but that was not my intention. I wanted to create this magical piece. So you can stop with the acrylic pour swiping once you're done with this part if you want. You can also swipe the face if you want. It's the creative part is all up to you. So this is just a paper towel. As you can see, I dipped it into a little bit of white paint and then just swiped around with it. This is a swiping tool from PourScrapeRepeat.com that I use for the more intricate curves. I was kind of trying to create some movement and flow with the hair. So here is the mane so far, and because I used primary elements and prism pour, I get that beautiful color shifting to the hair now, and that plays an important role in the final piece. You'll see it in the end, but right now, it's just a typical basic swipe, nothing special. Okay, so this dried really good. whenever you use like a pigment or something that's dry, it's always going to dry a little bit darker. But once you add like your resin or your varnish, it always comes back to life. So that's where we are. Now I have to peel this tape to find out what happened here. I know it lifted a little bit right here, but we'll fix that. So I just peeled the tape up and, you know, it did leak under a little tiny bit, but it doesn't matter because this mane is about to become something so much more beautiful. So this is why I wanted to use purple and green as a theme. This glitter is just beautiful. So I'm going to go and paint it on the mane. I'm going to use it for the horn. And yeah, it's just a really, really pretty color. So I'm just kind of filling it in, you know. This is great for people that can't draw. You know, it's just trace something and fill it in. You can make a really beautiful painting this way if you have to. So that is a black Posca marker, and I am outlining the entire face, ears, and top hair of the unicorn with it. I kept envisioning this beautiful white unicorn with this flowing mane, and I kept envisioning a black line around its face. Like I was envisioning a poster of a unicorn versus a real life unicorn, if that makes sense. So if this poster was in the store, it would be outlined in black. So that's why I chose the black marker. So now this here, as you can see, is pumice, and it is very coarse. It's almost dries like cement. I wanted to add some nice texture to that top piece of hair there. So I just took a popsicle stick and placed it in there. I didn't fill in the whole thing. I just wanted it in kind of in the center to give it a little 3D effect, and let it dry. All of these things need to dry in between, but you can do things like put the glitter down on the horn and then work on a separate section like the hair, and it won't bother it. So now that it's all dry, I took some white acrylic paint and just dabbed it in there and turned it all white for the next step, which is this beautiful baby right here. That was a Chameleon pigment that I bought off Etsy. You can look them up. They're everywhere. So I decided to dab some of it. It is mixed with glue. Dab it onto the hair part there, along with some super chameleon pigments that I got from Artist Till Death. Their link is in the description. Their chameleon pigments are so gorgeous. This is called Bad Apple. And what it does is it adds a violet and a green color shift to your painting. So once this dries, you're going to see it with the ear. If you look at it one way, it looks pink. If you look at it another way, it looks green. There, see that? See the ear there? That's the Bad Apple shifting to green. So, you know, they're very expensive. You don't get a lot for $8 or $10. It's only like a gram, but that's the standard across the board. That's what everybody charges because they are an expensive product to begin with. But a little goes a long way. That 1 gram jar did this entire painting for me, and I used it a lot, and I had some left over. So remember I told you you can work on areas while other areas are drying? Well, here's an example of that. I wanted to do some stenciling in the background. So this is light modeling paste, and you can do this with regular modeling paste. You can do it with gesso, believe it or not. You can do it with even white acrylic paint if it's a heavy body. I wanted to add a bubble theme to this unicorn background, so that's what you're seeing me do here. And here's the bad apple. See, they're little tiny jars, and they come with a little tiny bit of that pigment in them. And yeah, you do not need a lot, though. Like this cup here, I added some glue into a cup and a little bit of that bad apple. That's enough to do my entire upper background there, plus I had left over. So I took the paintbrush with the bad apple glue mixture on it and individually painted every single one of those little bubbles. This is sped up. It took me forever. I'm talking 3 hours almost. There were so many. But this is my therapy. Okay, this is what gives me inner peace. And I've talked to people that have channels on YouTube over the years, and they'll say things like, wow, I can't believe you did all that. Wow, you know, that just takes so much time. Wow, it's pretty, but I'm not going to do all that work to achieve that. And I just think to myself, do you really love art? You know, a true artist will sit there for hours and hours and create something, you know. It's not about 5-minute art, or, you know, dump some paint on a canvas and boom, 5 minutes later you're done. You need to enjoy the process too, and really explore the products and have some fun with them and use your creativity. So coming up next, I have some beautiful resin pastes to color my resin with. Now you can buy those also at artisttilldeath.com. There's a link in the description in the box below, in the description box. This is Pink Orchid Shimmer. Look at that color. I'm a pink lover. Look at that color. Then I have dark turquoise. Very beautiful, dark, like phthalo turquoise color. That's white. And then that's ultramarine violet. And then that bad apple I mixed into my resin also. Just a little tiny tip of a popsicle stick worth, just to get some shimmer. And what I'm doing with these colors is I'm putting some on a popsicle stick and dragging them through the wet resin. This is going to create a 3D look and make those strands of hair look real. You know, I realized that I could have stopped just with the acrylic swipe and it would have been a pretty painting, but adding something like a layer of resin, or in this case, 3 or 4 layers of resin in the end, can really just make a really unique piece of art that is unlike anybody else's. And that's what I always want to try to achieve. Now, you have to keep in mind, this is just the first layer. We're going to say the under hair of the mane. And once we're done with that and we let it dry overnight, we're going to come back in and add in another layer of hair. And that's what you're seeing me do here. It's 24 hours later. It was dry. I just dumped some clear resin on top of it. And we're going to repeat the process with the same colors again. With resin, you can use either a torch or a heat gun to pop the bubbles. I prefer a torch. I feel like it penetrates the surface more than the heat gun does. So these are the same exact colors again. We have the ultramarine violet by Just Resin, the dark turquoise by Just Resin, the my cats are going nuts in the background, the angel white by Lorez, and the pink orchid shimmer by Color Obsession. Again, you can buy these through artisttilldeath.com. So layer 2 of the hair, again, I'm just streaking it through all the individual colors and just kind of making it look like it's flowing. And then what I'm going to do now on this layer I'm going to start using the heat gun. And I want to start blowing and fluffing up that hair a little bit, you know, blowing it out a little bit, just like we would with our blow dryer. You want to use the heat gun in that way. If you want the hair to flow to the right, blow it to the right. You know, it's all in whatever look you're going for. So here we are after 2 layers of hair, and I blew out that little bit there. We get some nice lacing in the white, and you can still see some of the original swipe underneath. You can, in person, you can see that swipe. On camera, it's very hard to see, but you can see it in the background there. And the colors from matte blending with the new colors are really starting to look amazing. Here's a little night vision for you to see how pretty the stencil looks and the glitter looks. But when I say we're not done yet, we are not done yet. There is so much more to come on this piece. I had taken the bad apple chameleon pigment and kind of just traced the face with it too. That's why you see it lighting up like that. But here, look at the mane. You're going to see the colors, the primary elements showing through underneath. You're going to see the colors from the pigment, the glitter. There's just so much going on here. I love it. So it's the next day. We now have 2 layers of resin down on the canvas. Now I'm taking a stencil and directly onto a resin surface. That's right, you heard me right. I am stenciling using some light modeling paste. It's going to dry and attach to the resin. Now, very important, you have to seal in this layer, because if you don't, you can literally take your nail when that paste is dry and pop it right off. So you have to put another layer of resin on top. But I wanted to create this really 3D looking effect in the back of the unicorn, and doing the stencil on different layers was helping with that. So I put the stencil down and again just took my palette knife with the light modeling paste and ran it over the stencil. I was cleaning up a little area there with a baby wipe. And this stuff is very easy to get off if you get it in areas where you don't want it. So I created all those little dots. And now again with that bad apple chameleon pigment, I am hand painting every one of them one at a time. Very long process, I tell you. And this is sped up here. So again, it took me quite some time to do this. If you want, you can take something like a glitter glue like this one here and put a couple of drops on each individual little round circle and create some interest that way also. So now that all of that was dry that you just saw, I went and put another clear layer of resin and another layer of hair with the same colors. There's a lot of repeating here. Lots of layers of resin. This is a 16 by 20. I used a ton of resin to make this piece. It was not cheap, but so worth it in the end. And I'm sorry that I had to speed it up so much. It's just, it would have been a 15-hour video had I not, sped this way up. So you can really see now the mane is really starting to come into it, grow into itself. It's beautiful. It's luscious. It's flowing. So now that that's all dry and it's the next day, I took a circle stencil and with a Posca marker, I made a bunch of circles on the canvas. I'm going to take this white paint. It's a heavy body titanium white from Liquitex, and I'm going to fill in those circles. I'm going to paint them in. I want to create bubbles all over the canvas. So to tie the top part with where I did the stenciling, and it's going to kind of complete everything. So paint them in. Thick, heavy body paint paints beautifully on top of a dry resin surface. Paint them all in, let them dry, and then I will show you what the next step is going to be. So now once these are dry, these bubbles that I've painted in, I'm going to do a layer of the Bad Apple Too Faced Chameleon pigment from Artist to Death, just like I did to these. I'm going to coat them in a layer of that, let it dry, and then I'm going to do a layer of rainbow glitter over them. These are going to be some spectacular bubbles. I'm so excited about this piece, but I promise you it's almost done. We're going to do this, and then we're going to throw on the top coat, and we are going to call Miss Sparkle finished. So here we go. This is the Bad Apple and glue mixture being painted over the surface of the bubble. And then I'm going to come in once that is dry and add in the second layer, which is this here, is a rainbow glitter. You'll see that more when I take the painting outside and show you, or do the night vision footage. So now here is the last layer of resin I am going to put down. I am just spreading it out evenly over the canvas. And then there's something I did that I did not show in the video. After I was done with spreading this out, I took a little bit of white resin and just put a few more strands of white along the face line of the unicorn, but you're going to see that here in a second. So here it is. I'm just so happy with this piece. And like I said, the lines of hair, it looks like you can reach down into the resin and feel them. That's how lifelike they look. So here's the couple of strands of white hair I told you that I wanted to add. Do you see the background swipe lighting up back there? It is, you can still see it, and it adds so much to the painting. The primary elements did their job. The Too Faced Chameleon pigments did their job. And the glitter most definitely did its job. So overall, I am very happy with this piece. It is, in my opinion, one of my best mixed media pieces ever. So I'm extremely happy with it. And I hope you are too. If you enjoyed the video, show me some love. Give a like. Leave a comment. If you're interested in the painting, you can email me, artbytammy@yahoo.com. So here we are outside. I love this. Love it. The bubbles are floating through the air, and her hair is blowing in the wind, and Sparkle is in her happy place. And I hope you guys are in a happy place too today. So thank you for watching. All the product information and all that information that you need regarding to what I did in this video will be in the description below. Come over to Facebook, look for United We Pour Fluid Art Group. That is my Facebook group that I run with my sister from another mister, Miss Lisa Wyatt Art. We are having a monthly contest this month, so join the contest. Check me out on all my social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, you know, all those fun places that we hang out during the day. And don't forget to subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I love you all. And until the next one, happy pouring.